Welcome back to Smashing Hits Podcast. This is going to be a recap for Spies, Lies, and Allies, episode 15. My name's Zach. I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, what's
best
up?
friend, Jeyyy.
Okay.
How's everybody doing tonight? I can tell you how we were doing tonight. I think we hit just about every level of emotion.
Not me. I've been as line level as possible.
We're not going into details of the story, but let me just break down the dynamics of mine and Han's relationship. We started off the night. I got here with dinner.
Just for you, though.
Just for me, salmon.
We already eaten.
I love... The first argument we had, Han, was you don't like seafood. To which I said, when done right, there aren't many things better than just a good slab of salmon over a bed of rice.
I don't like salmon.
It's unbelievable. Tilapia, whitefish, it's a cod,
Yeah.
lobster, crab.
Those
I don't like lobster
the same
either.
Type of thing.
So, but they're in the water.
They are all.
They are in the water.
That was what seemed to be the first, real point of conflict for us in the evening.
I just went downstairs and played Far Cry because I was like, I don't care to watch you
And we
eat dinner.
duked it out in the kitchen.
We both have had, stressful days
Yeah.
in very different ways, but stressful nonetheless.
I think
Yeah.
we're going to keep rhyming.
You should have.
Then we go down. We actually just got done watching the challenge.
Yeah.
Probably about an hour ago at this point.
Yeah, I've been waiting to... I had
honest.
everything set up here.
Well, and then there was something I was presented with earlier in the night. Again, we won't go into details, but, we had talked about it while I was eating dinner, me and Han did, and then I made a statement about said situation, to which, Zach, you were here. You can be the middle ground.
Mediator.
The mediator.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Han has ever come down on me for anything the way that she did about 15 minutes ago.
Now, that may be true.
I mean,
It's probably true.
but for something that
Kind of trivial.
was that I had not
Initiated.
I did not encourage, I did not really have anything to do with, other than it was just kind of dropped on me. And by the way I had answered the initial question of if I had any plans for said night.
People listening are going to have no idea what.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But it all came to Han just... We started shouting at each other.
We did.
An hour. Like, this was
Yeah,
not playful.
we were
This
yelling
was
at each-
legit like...
I was playful yelling until, like right at the very end, 30 seconds, I was like, oh, I'm mad.
Yeah.
And then I got mad.
Yeah,
Because
And
I'm
I got
like, why are
quiet.
you mad right now?
I got quiet, and then I had to, sit in it.
Yeah, you made your bed. Now you had to lie in it.
And then, maybe 5 minutes later, we were good.
We were talking about diabetes.
Diabetes and...
Yeah, that always brightens the mood.
Here we are. And, I don't know, Zach. I mean, you saw the whole thing unfold.
I did.
I thought she was very out of line, if I'm being totally honest with you.
I mean, I think you both just took things.
But I went where I did as a result of her.
But you both just got in your feelings about weird tangents of related things, and then it became well, now she's upset about this, and you're upset about her reaction, and then it just became from my perspective, I was like, well, we're not even going to get to record tonight, so
You thought I was about to leave or something.
I thought something was going to happen, and I was just
Or the hand was going to go to bed or
I was like, we got to
take some Tylenol PM.
we can't not record, and also I was like, this whole thing is so stupid.
I think we would both agree. That was stupid.
Yeah.
I think it was stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, so
I'm the
No,
mediator.
I'm
It
fine.
was stupid.
I'm fine. Because, right before we started recording, I said, Jake, you and I both have, it's just been one of those days.
She's been listening to a lot of Limp Bizkit.
Oh, God, I hate Limp Bizkit.
Did you have to break something today?
One of those days.
No.
You had to break some grout from what I heard.
While you ate your salmon, you and I sat at the kitchen island, and we I'm saying we dumped. I dumped on Jake the stress that I had today, and then he dumped on me the stress from his day. And so
And then apparently you guys festered on it for an hour and a half while we watched the show.
no, it had nothing to do with work. It had nothing to do with anything that happened really anything that really happened today. I think it was just a culmination of us being under a lot of pressure, both of us being under a lot of pressure today. And I think you and I both feel the weight individually of our said pressures, and it just kind of pushed us over the edge, and we got it out. And in 5 minutes, we were done.
And you guys need to both learn to be like me, to where, things happen. It's fine. You just let it roll off your back.
Jake, do you ever want to be like him?
I'll tell you what, you guys would be a lot less upset with everything if you guys would.
Yeah, but you know what? It brought us closer together.
In fairness, I wasn't upset in any situation from my evening. I was upset at her for yelling at me.
Yeah, you guys both got into like a tornado of angst and like.
Well, here's what I know.
We just started getting louder and louder and louder, and then I yelled.
Well, I'll say this: I think she was incredibly out of line. And
she threw away my cheese dip earlier, which we didn't even talk about.
And I just know that someone's gonna leave a 1-star review because I yelled at Hannah. When you fail to remember, she yelled at me first.
Well, they weren't.
I did. I yelled first. I'll admit it.
And you know what? You go ahead and leave that 1-star review, but I firmly believe that all of the yelling, while done out of frustration, was also done out of love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked it through.
So
I'll put my
I'll drink
mediator.
to that.
And it's not that either one of us was mad.
No, you both just said you were. You said you were. You got mad. And you
I didn't get mad. I was upset.
You literally said I was yelling and then realized, oh, I'm mad. You just said that.
I was mad for about 30 seconds because I yelled.
Okay, well then you were mad.
It wasn't that I was mad. It was that I was upset, and there's a difference between mad and upset.
You just said the words mad.
Now Zach's mad. What is happening tonight?
Now I'm going to yell at you. I moved the mic. You're welcome.
That was good at better.
Not
good, but better at a good.
Yeah.
God. I don't know what's going to happen on this pod tonight.
Yeah.
I got a feeling we may not be done yelling at each other. Now Zach's been looped in.
Zach cannot stop bringing up the cheese dip.
I brought it up once.
No, this is the third time we've talked about it tonight.
Well, that's just because it just came up right before we started recording. So, yeah, you and I had a conversation where I was like, what happened?
And I explained to you what happened.
You did.
And then you keep bringing it up.
Okay. Well,
I'll go buy you more cheese dip.
This was Moe's cheese dip, though.
It was.
Which I don't like their chease dip. So
I do.
It's pretty good.
Nah, it's too queso-y.
Oh, okay.
It's literally queso.
Yeah, it's too. They're
do you know what
queso,
cheese is in Spanish?
Queso.
Yeah, so you said it's too much of what
it is.
The one ingredient
I guess
should be.
Hold on, let me start over. I think theirs is too. It's too spicy. There's not enough cheese. There's too much spice.
You just said it's too much cheese. It's too queso-y.
Oh, it's too much spice. I don't need my nose to run.
It's not.
It's not spicy.
What is wrong with you?
You got
baby mouth.
Yeah, I got a baby mouth.
All right. Well,
we need to work on your palate.
Add it to the list. We
all need fixing.
Home fixing.
You just snorted right in the mic.
I did not.
No, you did. You did.
You scared yourself. You looked right at me when you did it and then threw your hands to your face.
I think
like it scared you.
I think the reaction would have been the same reaction as if he like accidentally pooped his pants in public. Like that's the oh no. But if you would poop your pants here, I would have been upset about that too.
Yes, we're not. If you crap yourself tonight, we are not giving you clothes to change into.
It's conversations like this where I don't understand why the Ringer never gave us a chance to be a part of their network.
Yeah,
sure. Call Johnny Bananas. Take the easy route.
Yeah.
You got a gold mine over here, boys. We just dropped our merch. Tell them about it, Zach.
SmashHeadsPodcast.com/store. 6 new designs in any configuration you can imagine. Skateboards, notebooks,
the real
duvets.
The real trophy out there is the Nipple Boys duvet.
Yeah, I mean it's not limited. Anyone can get it, right. And it doesn't have to be king size. I think king size is the funniest because the bigger the funnier. That's a math equation.
That's also Texas
That is
humor.
What? There's just everything's bigger in Texas.
Exactly. So everything's funnier.
No,
It could be.
I don't really like Texas from what I've been to, but I need to go back to. I need to go to Austin. I think I would like Austin.
I want to go to Houston.
You just want to go to the city limits.
Yeah, I would like to go to Austin city limits. Yeah, at some point, but
Zach likes music now.
No.
What a weird, quirky trait.
It's probably in his Twitter bio. I like music.
Yeah, I think he's got his list, right?
Wait, I want to pull it up.
It is.
I haven't been on Twitter.
It does say music.
I haven't been on Twitter in forever.
She's on
I'm
Twitter
going back.
every day of her life.
No, I haven't been on it in forever. I'm actually taking a break.
Let's go ahead. We already spent way too much time.
Oh, has it been that long?
It's been 10 minutes already.
It's not
that's
been
not
long
bad.
enough.
Patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast. Again, we dropped 2 Patreon exclusive podcasts last week.
Music.
It's on his Instagram bio.
I knew. Number 2.
What a
And you're like
loser.
number 6.
Yeah, something like that.
So
So
Patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast. We're going to be doing a giveaway on there with some of our merch. We just got to figure out the semantics on how to choose.
The holidays are coming up.
Holidays are coming up, which doesn't have anything to do with Patreon, but Jake just wanted to remind you.
Don't forget, they're coming up.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, they're coming.
Thanksgiving's a week from today.
I know it's.
So
I'm
we got to
so
figure out what
excited.
we're doing for recording next week, but we'll get to that.
I thought you were about to say we got to figure out what we're doing for Thanksgiving.
No. So yeah,
Jake, do you have plans for Thanksgiving?
We're not. Let's get into
don't
tonight's episode. There was a lot of talking at the beginning around when they came in the house. Didn't care for it. Just didn't make any notes about it until Devin said, we lost one of our chefs, but we gained a solid dishwasher. Which, if you can't have a restaurant with only chefs.
That's true.
That's true.
Otherwise, you'd be eating off dirty dishes the whole time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That happened to me one time at Red Lobster.
What?
That's not okay.
Yeah, I got a dish that when I moved something else out of, it had old food underneath it.
I remember that.
Yeah, you were with me.
I was.
And I was like, hey, what is this? And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we'll give you food for free. I guess
That was gross.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. It was like rice pilaf that was like dried, like old rice.
No.
That's gross.
No.
So Amanda's a solid dishwasher. Everyone's got their roles. You can't have a restaurant without all the different roles. Even 5 chefs and 1 dishwasher is a bad restaurant.
No, that's true.
You need
Yeah,
servers.
but at least they
you
have
need
one.
Front of house. You need bus boys.
We've watched too many restaurant wars
What?
on MasterChef.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Restaurant
that's Top
wars.
Chef. Top Chef.
It's the same thing.
It's not.
It was nice that Casey was the one that piped up and said that they needed to welcome Amanda with open arms to the team.
I mean, her point was if we don't, we're just going to cause strife within the group, and there's no reason to do that.
And she, if they don't make Amanda feel welcome, she could just start throwing dailies.
Yeah, which is not out of the realm of possibility.
No, I think it's more likely that she would do that than cooperate.
I mean, didn't she threaten that last week? Was that I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna beat this person, then I'm gonna come to your team, and I'm gonna throw it. I'm pretty sure she said that
I think
verbatim.
She threatened it in the context of they weren't going to welcome her.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If they didn't welcome her,
if y'all are going to be jerks about it, then fine.
We'll never not win any more dailies.
Yeah.
So Ruby has a whole renovation thing where Tori's got all red head to toe, and she paints one of their nails each, and she's like, I've been in the final. Kyle, you've been in the final. Nelson, you've been in the final. Big T, you're going to get there someday.
Yeah, she's like, I believe you can do it. You have what it takes.
That's just
It's coming from everybody's mouth now.
I know.
Just how not good Big T is.
I mean, I was gonna wait until the end of the episode, but there's a confessional with Nelson. It's like, man, Ruby's getting stronger by the day. We have Tori, Logan, and myself, and Big T.
I mean,
he paused.
Yeah.
These stands don't have a leg to stand on no more.
Mm.
They just don't, because literally everybody on the show is cutting her down.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 4 seasons at this point.
She's not good. It's okay. She's
so-
probably good at a lot of other things.
I have a note on that later on. We'll get to it.
She's not good at this.
Emmanuel at the top of the show says he's the only rookie who hasn't gone in, so he thinks he might be on the chopping block regardless. Which I think he's been the only rookie that hasn't gone in for a while now. Like that's just been the case. Because I don't even know who would have been the last rookie that went in and it was their first time. Like no, because Ed went in. I don't know. I don't even know how to figure that out. But he's
math's hard.
Somehow escaped elimination this whole time. Again, he's been on the best team. And then we get like a montage of like Josh working out, training, and CT said Josh looks good.
Well, Josh had talked to Amanda. He congratulated her on winning her elimination, and then he told her, now that you're on our team, Casey and I get up every morning and we run. He either said
30 laps.
They eat 30 laps. Okay,
Yeah.
so they get up at 5 a.m.
I don't know.
I heard the number 5, and I couldn't remember if it was they get up at 5 a.m. and run,
He said
or they
30
get
laps.
up in the morning and run 5 miles. Regardless, he said that they get up in the morning and they run, and he told Amanda, he was like, you need to be joining us. And she said, I don't do that.
Yeah, I love exercising as much as the next person, but I ain't doing it at 5 in the morning.
No.
I have tried.
When I was going to the gym over by where I work, I tried that. I was like, oh, I'll be one of those go before work. And I was like, you feel great for about 2 hours, and then you just die.
I can't even say that. I remember I tried it multiple times going in, and just at the gym, I'm just miserable because I'm just not awake.
That's how I am. Yeah.
I just, and it's not like a voluntary thing. Like I think that's just a makeup that some people have. I think some people have that ability to just go.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as their alarm goes off, boom, they're ready, bub. I've
I ain't
never
one
had
of
it.
them.
Me either.
Never had
Nope.
it. I'm envious. I wish I had it. I really do.
I'm the type that I get weird spurts of energy late at night.
Yeah, and that's what I've always hated is like, especially like the generation prior to us. I think chalks that up to laziness.
It's not,
but it's
at
like
all.
no. I'm still up.
Yeah.
And I'm still running off probably
Yeah,
5-6
we're not
hours of
sleeping
sleep. Yeah,
12, 15 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like I'm seriously, most nights I get about 5 to 6 hours of sleep, which is not the suggested amount of sleep.
So that even that study
It
has been
changes
kind of debunked. They said
depending on your age.
It depends person to person too. Some people need 4, some people need 6, some people need 8. Like it's whatever your body tells you.
Women need more sleep than men. That is scientifically proven.
But yeah, I like
That's for the babies.
last night.
I don't have babies, but I do have to sleep a lot.
Like last night, I was tired, and then at like 1 a.m, I just got like, I got this like burst of, and like honestly, like I had 2 guitar projects that I was wanting to work on, and I had been struggling literally for years. I'd had stuff, and then all of a sudden, like a solution to both of them hit me, and then I spent like the next 2 hours just doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm quicker to go work out at midnight or 1 in the morning, and easy. I'm wired, bub.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm not. It's across the board. We ain't waking up at 5 in the morning, and
No,
it's miserable.
Not
Yeah.
voluntary. No way.
this sounds. I'm not a farmer.
Yeah.
Yes. This ain't a farm.
This ain't farmersonly.com.
So CT then says he's considering throwing the daily to help Ruby because he's like, we have 3 people. We can't let Emerald win. And he knows Tori is going to team up with him or whatever. So we get to the daily. Maybe the best name daily of the season, Boom Raiders, which, Room Raiders nod.
Yeah. It could be a fun little, ska band too.
That could for sure be a ska band, Boom Raiders.
Yeah.
Do you want to start one?
I hate ska
Panic!
music.
I
Flutes.
hate ska
I'd love-
There's
music.
not flutes and ska
I'd
music.
love nothing more than to start a band with you, but I ain't playing ska music.
No.
Uh,
When I learn bass, we can do a whole band.
Yeah, I'd be down to do music like your old band used to do. I thought you guys were top notch, man.
I feel like I can't tell if you're being serious.
You sound like a fanboy.
I'll still go back and listen to that last show. I guess it wasn't y'all's last show. Was it y'all's?
Yes,
last
it was.
Was it?
Was. Yeah.
I mean, I think that was y'all's best.
Oh yeah, it was.
I mean, it was good.
Yeah,
because y'all had such unique like Daniel.
So this is off topic, but that guitar that's hanging on the wall.
Yeah,
I tuned down the other day through the Helix, played straight through all those songs. I can't play them all as much anymore because I don't have that dexterity and like quickness as what I used to when I was 18 or 17 or whatever.
And I wasn't always a fan of Heath's vocals, but his rhythm was
works
always
well. It worked well. Yeah.
Yeah, you should throw that in the like Patreon or something, just like the link to
the last
that show. Yeah.
Is this the show that your long lost brother stood on a chair and recorded?
Yes.
Okay.
With his hands
We
above
played
his
that
head.
show. My band played
With
that
his
show,
hands
and I think
there's a video of you guys somewhere.
Our songs are broken up though. Y'all's are just one continuous video, but we're both on YouTube from that same show. I think
In
that
2007.
Wow.
that may have been our best show too.
It
was either that one or our very first show.
Go out on a bang.
That was a good show all around. We ended
was
up
fun.
playing with a band. One of them went on to be signed by Tooth and Nail and like Tooth and Nail Records. But this is also off topic. But like Heath, whatever, like the music they're making these days is good, dude. Like him and Jared.
It's not my top, but I'm not. That's not for me to say if it sucks or not. It's just not my top.
Yeah, I've had some of the other band that like this side project of guys on mine. Those have been stuck in my head this whole week. Mm-hmm. I've got all those on a hard drive still.
When I told you earlier I was going on a shopping spree, one of the first things I'm buying is a bass, and you can play drums.
I love playing drums.
I'm just not good at it. Well, we can talk about all this later.
Yeah.
We're gonna have all kinds of fun.
So, Boom Raiders, you need 26 to win. Emmy asked TJ how she's gonna fight against 5 girls, and he's like, "Well, you're just gonna have to figure it out." And she's like, "Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to figure it out."
Great attitude about it. Yeah.
He said that sounds like your problem. She said, "You're right. That is my problem," and she laughed, and I was like, "What?" She's so great. How can you not love her?
There's people that don't.
It's probably the same people that love Big T.
No. Here's the thing. Like one of our patrons who like I'll name drop her because like we're pretty eye to eye on a lot of things. Neens doesn't like Emmy, and that I think that would surprise us as a group.
That does surprise me.
Well, and I think we all generally think highly of Neens.
Yeah.
I think the world of her. She's like a resident nurse for me.
Yeah, she is like literally, not just for you.
No, but like when I was sick, she was checking on me and asking me what I was doing.
She's a good person. She's wrong
like,
on
help
anything.
Me.
That's just a bad take.
There's Paul, but Paul's Statman Paul, not the good Paul. He's notorious for bad takes, but he doesn't like Emmy.
It's just a bad take all around.
So
well,
just
let the record show. As of right now, I love Emmy.
Yeah, I have,
and I don't anticipate anything changing.
Give me her all day long.
I think it's just from the perspective, like what you're watching the show for, right? Like I watch the show to be entertained.
Yeah,
and she's entertaining,
and she's a good competitor.
She competes hard.
She's good. She's entertaining, and she's good.
Yeah.
What more could you ask for?
And she's weird in like an intriguing way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's goofy.
She's a character.
Yes. But she's not like...
She's not wallpaper like Casey.
She's not constantly complaining about everything. Woe is me. Everybody's out to get me.
It's like, hey,
she's like,
what am I supposed to do? And she's like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, I guess it is my problem. I'll take care of it. Ha, ha, ha. Like, what better cast could you ask for?
You mentioned Casey as wallpaper. Yeah. It is incredible to me how Nani
has become that.
It is bizarre.
Honestly,
because
more
Nani,
so than Casey.
Nani has always been you can just count on her for just craziness.
She's on my team.
And it is bizarre.
I can't tell you how many like days when we have fantasy stuff that unless her team wins the daily, she just doesn't score.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's literally
she got points for
nothing
saying,
for her.
You get out of here, bro, or whatever it was.
It's wild.
Well, I mean, I honestly I can't tell you the last time I had a note from Nani, but I did have a note from Casey on this because she used to play
but that's
football.
Come up a lot of times, and it wasn't touch football, it was tackle football.
She said at one point during this daily that she was talking about her whole interaction with Tori, that she has no idea how crazy she can get. And it's like, I think anybody really does. Like, you just
Yeah.
can you be
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah,
Will you please
Like, please,
please.
give us something, please.
flip that switch?
Scream or just do anything.
If you had to put money on who would be like turned into a crazy person, her or Tori, like your money's on Tori all day long.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like Tori's a better competitor or anything, because Casey laid her out a couple times in this daily.
Yeah, she got a couple of real good hits.
And because again, Casey said she doesn't play football, yes, but like from what I've seen, she was like a wide receiver. That's not really like a physical spot as much as it's more of a finesse and speed type thing.
You can still tackle people though,
I mean, it's kind of rare.
but you can.
You can't unless there's a turnover.
It's a penalty.
Yeah.
So you really can't.
Well, okay,
You're not allowed
she has the
to.
ability to.
Well, yeah, we all do in our hearts. So, Kyle is a moron again, just like inexplicably.
Well, here's the thing. At first, I thought that it really was him being dumb and getting it wrong. But then in a like quick little confessional, he was like, "Yeah, I can't trust CT."
Yeah, but I think he was trying. Like, I think he was just a dummy. And honestly, like, I think she said, "Go after Emerald." In his mind, Emerald blue, and like he just put those together
If I could see that being a thing, because I didn't know Sapphire was blue.
I have struggled just in the recaps trying to keep track of what's what. Just I'll say Sapphire when I mean Emerald and vice versa.
My notes: blue, green, red.
Yeah. So
like why can MTV not make this easier for us?
Well, when he ran back, he said, "No, you said this." And she's like, "I said she's like, "I said Emerald," and she's like, "You went to blue." Yeah, and so.
Yeah.
I think he did just get confused, and then he just kind of ran with it. And but then in another confessional, he's like, there's just some miscommunication from the team. And I was like, no, you just went to the wrong one. Like, that's all it was.
Yeah.
Screwed up again. It's multiple times this season.
To Devin early on.
Yep.
And like so it's just like
My man scatterbrained.
Yeah, but in like
do you think it's the baby?
He's not carrying the baby.
The baby's out of sight right now.
Yeah, but the baby's taking up his mind. I mean, his thoughts.
Maybe, but it's just like
he's got baby on the mind.
I liked that we had these like resets between each round because like it built up the like animosity. They're yelling across the things to each other. And it wasn't just this round. It was like between the girls round and then
this daily was actually good.
It was a good daily.
Yeah, it was a good daily.
It was a good daily.
You know why? I wrote down why.
It's very simple.
Well, not that. You only had one person per team competing at a time. And
yes.
so even if you had an advantage, your advantage was just fresh legs instead of someone running multiple times. So that's more of like an old school type thing where it's like, all right, well, this person has to go 2 or 3 times to make it even. You still have the same amount of people doing a timed event or whatever. But this was the most balanced daily since they've gone into the cells. Because you weren't having 6 people run at the same time versus 3 people. It was 1-on-1-on-1.
See, I actually didn't realize that till you brought it up now. I thought what was happening was there was a guys' heat and then a girls' heat, but what was happening is, so let's say
there was a guys' heat. And
no, yeah, but I thought what was happening was you're saying that each heat one went
per team.
You couldn't run. So, like, if CT runs down there, he grabs a stick. Logan can't go until CT comes back and places the stick on their side.
Okay, so I did get it right.
Tagging
I thought you were saying that in said heat, it is one guy the whole time.
No, so like,
no, because they hit each other.
Well, like
times.
Emmy was the only girl that could run, and but what happened is she's only running against 2 other people at the same time
instead of the 5.
Yeah, one from each
girls.
group, and so she's having to run a lot more. But you're not having to take on 6 people or 5 people at a time. You're taking on 1 per team.
Right.
So that's what balanced it out. Now again, you the smallest group, 3 people, they won. Now there was some politics involved, but like if you looked at those things, like the other teams weren't even close. Like
no,
I don't know, but that is what balance is. Just having to do well. You're down. You just got to push through and run harder. It's not more hands making the win faster because that's what all the other ones have been. It's just whoever has the most people for the most part. So again, CT and Logan are pissed. Kyle mistaked it. He kept saying, "I mistaked it."
Is that like the English past tense of that verb?
You know, he was so flustered at the time. I don't know.
It could have just been him not saying mistook.
It's just a weird phrase in general. Like, I messed up, or like I screwed up, or something.
I mistaked it.
And there was also another thing where like everyone kept like, Tori, you're so uncool, and she's like, stop calling me uncool. Like, everyone
I didn't catch that.
But I think this daily was made.
You know what I just realized?
What?
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
You were Devin, and she was Tori, and she's yelling across the thing like, I'm not uncool. That's what happened before we started recording.
Yeah.
And then you were Devin, and then
I'm not uncool. I like to think I'm not super cool, but I like to think I'm like pretty
I didn't
cool.
mean to take it literally.
I think I'm pretty cool.
Well, this was just a very simple daily.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing crazy. Not a lot of production aspect to this, right? We had an explosion at the
Mm-hmm.
end. That's fine.
But it didn't affect, like, it wasn't in the course of the daily.
You know,
Thank gosh.
like, yeah, I think naturally you think we have to go big, but it bears out, man. Like, just keep this real simple, man.
All stars.
This is the stuff that works.
All stars.
You know?
Make it eat simple, and then just put fun people on the show.
When have you ever done a challenge like this and it wasn't intense and fun?
Yeah, I mean, they've done it this like as a elimination. I think it was X marks the spot or something like that a few times, and then you had. It wasn't exactly the same, but there was one where they had like riot shields one time, and they were like trying to push people off. Like anytime there's just like competing in mud to like push people out of the it's gonna be good. Like, you don't have to have high tech like jet powered underwater devices to do things.
Or the high speed cars.
Yeah.
You know, like.
When they showed the trenches, as they dubbed them, before they even started, I immediately thought back to the elimination with Johnny Bananas and Tyler Duckworth and CT and Adam King. And CT was just laying them out. He got that real good hit on Johnny Bananas.
They lost because Adam screwed up the order of the balls. Like, you had to grab one color and then return. And so,
but I remember, like, so many seasons ago, I remember that.
Wasn't it the train, the choo choo, where that came from?
Yeah. And it was a great challenge to do. It was great.
I think we've had this before in another season as a daily. Like, not 3 teams, but a similar thing.
Oh, they've done like, just getting as many balls as you can into your basket.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you're running back and forth, because that was there was a season that everybody was deeming Johnny Bananas past his prime out of shape, and he got gassed.
Yeah.
On
And
that
he like
challenge.
threw
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, he got like really bad gas.
Was that the one where they had to climb
may be
up
Rivals too.
the ramp?
Maybe.
It almost looked like a skateboard ramp and half. Yes, because
I feel like we just watched it.
Diem and Anissa were partners, and they couldn't get all the way up there.
Yeah, I think it may have been Rivals too.
It may have been.
And he was out of shape.
Yeah.
And but
That was a good one too, though.
again, like it's just I will say, like, so we've had a lot of complaints about this season with various things.
I don't think this is a bad season.
I don't think it's a bad season, and I do think that like they've done a really good job changing up the eliminations.
Yeah.
Because there's some seasons where you have 4 eliminations and that's it, and you just cycle through them. And this one, it's like something new every time. Now, there's been some that aren't as good as others, but I'm not out on this season at all, like kind of how you were towards the end of like Double Agents, or even Total Madness kind of got dragging on for a while.
This episode kind of gave me like a fresh breath.
I think it's a good episode.
Because I honestly, after the last like 2 or 3 episodes that we had of this season, going into this one, I was kind of dreading it. But because this one, like, it had more drama and house talking than I really wanted, but the daily and the elimination were good enough that it kind of revived me a little bit.
I didn't mind the stuff in the house. The only thing I don't like about this season necessarily is what we talked about in our All-Stars pod, is like everything tries so hard to be so moody, and they use these songs that try to make it seem like everyone's in these like really intense or whatever. And then you watch All Stars, and it's like, oh, we're just going to listen to Spice Girls and Backstreet Boys, and like it's just going to be fun.
Well, they showed like the little preview after this episode was over of the next episode of All Stars, and I think that's a bad idea because I think it just shows, you go from just this overly serious, over the top, like kind of hardened tone to like this just goofy.
But you know why I think they're doing it? One, to get more people to get Paramount Plus.
I get that.
But also to just be like, oh, like that's what we liked, was people just having fun. Oh, I remember him from whatever. And so I do think it is hard to put it back to back, because like
it is such a like huge gap of what each of these shows are.
You almost get whiplash.
It's got the same like bones, like structure, but it's like these are not the same shows really anymore.
It's like a pendulum where
what
was it Foo Fighters that said one of these things are not like the other? It's not like the other.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dave Grohl.
I love Foo Fighters.
Like this season is on one far extreme end, and then All Stars is on the other far extreme end.
Okay.
There's a boat.
Huh?
We're all there. It's in the same boat.
Well, she said it's a pendulum.
I know. We got to keep coming up with different analogies.
I'm not gonna do that.
It's like an open window.
You're on a bridge.
That's the elimination.
It's like you're in a house fire.
So
you're in a halfway house.
Then a lot of things have gone wrong.
I did it.
I mean, like,
was that not funny?
It's not that funny. She's like, "Oh wow, substance abuse is great."
No, it just came out of left field. That's not where I thought you were going.
So, when you get back to the house,
no, before we get to that, I said I wanted to get to this. Big T.
Yep.
Every
this is a doozy.
Every episode, we've had somebody pull a Casey and break down the daily.
Yes.
And we've kind of had it with some of the eliminations, too. So, Big T was the Casey for this daily challenge, except they kind of gave her, like, a extra little edit for it where she looked like she was a news anchor.
That's because she did it in such a, like, long-winded way.
But, she had a lot of inflection and emotion in it, like, really selling it. Here's why I'm bringing this up. She would make a fabulous host for a reality TV show. That's what she needs to be doing. She would make an awesome host to keep your audience engaged in whatever you're showing. I mean, she needs to be a host.
I'll give you that she's got a better skill set and stuff for that than for this show, for sure.
She can sell it. Whatever clip video, if she wants to be the next, what's his name on Ridiculousness?
She
Rob
couldn't hold a candle to Rob Dyrdek.
Yeah, that's the wrong show for her. What's the blonde-headed girl that like kind of
Chanel West Coast?
Yeah, she couldn't even do that.
Well, Big T would make an awesome host for a reality TV show. Because she can, whatever it is you're showing, she can sell it.
And you know what? Dude, speaking of
she'd make a great news anchor.
Speaking of this, I'm not going to sit here and let you disparage Rob Dyrdek, because I know what he's become. Rob Dyrdek was a professional skateboarder for so many years and was a really good skater. Sponsored by DC, sponsored by Alien Workshop. He was like a very good skateboarder. And then he got the show with Big Black, Christopher Boykin.
Robin Big.
And
I remember that
great show. Like,
it was a good show.
Such a good show. And then Fantasy Factory was a really great show.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
And so, like, now, again, I don't blame him. You can't skateboard the rest of your life. He's not a great host of ridiculousness, but, I mean, they keep paying him.
Yeah.
Like, his jokes aren't great. Like, he's trying to be Daniel Tosh, but Tosh is a comedian. And Rob Dyrdek's a skateboarder, so like I give him some slack on that. But he was a really good skater. He used to be in all the magazines I had back in the day.
I don't knock that.
But you were saying Big T could do his job.
I was just trying to come up with...
Big T's never skated.
Stop! I was trying to come up with like the reality TV format of a show that she could be a host of.
She needs to host whatever show Bettina came from, like Swedish Hotel. I don't know what it's called.
Paradise Hotel?
I don't know. So we get back to the house. CT tells us in a confessional that there's beef in the streets now. And then Toya just starts crying. She's talking to Devin and Nelson. Or Nelson came in later, but
Devin, Josh, and Emmanuel, because they were having dinner together.
Yeah, they were talking, and like I 100% understand Tori's side. Like you got taken, you've got to make the most of it. You've got to try to win because otherwise you're not going to a final. You're not whatever. So I don't blame her in any of this. I do kind of understand Devin's side where he's like, it's a guy's day. Why are you teaming up on us? Where you said 3 of your best guy friends, one who you're sleeping with, he pointed out, and Emmanuel, like you're putting us at risk by not like helping us to win. It is a selfish move, which is something that Devin's harping on like crazy for this season.
It's a selfish game.
It's a selfish move for Devin to want Tori to do something other than what she did.
It's a selfish move of Devin to pull the friend card and make it personal, which is what made Tori start crying in the first place. Because like he's trying to say it's a guy's day. You're putting us on the chopping block, but if she didn't try to win for her team, she's putting herself on the chopping block the following daily, because if she loses one of her guys, she has that much higher of a chance of going into the next female elimination.
I don't have any problem with what Tori did. Like
I don't either.
This is nobody can, selfish is not the attack to go for on a show like this.
No,
because you have to be. Everybody has to be.
Yes,
to some extent. You have to be selfish, and especially like if you're not on that team anymore, then
exactly.
You can't if they get to the final and win money, it does not help you at all.
We like Devin, but I just tonight in particular, I was like, okay, man,
yeah.
Everyone in here is playing selfish.
I feel the same way. Like I love Devin, but this is the second time he's called somebody selfish because he did it with Kyle a couple weeks ago. And so when he called Tori selfish, it was like, pump your brakes. Because he was saying that Tori was twisting her story to try and paint herself in a better picture, and he's trying to trick him.
He said, I don't buy bull for the kids.
Which I did. She wasn't twisting any story.
I don't think there's a lot of people that go out and buy it.
No.
Bull. Unless you're a gardener.
I mean, like, I do not, 100% do not think she was trying to play him or play anybody. She was trying to survive.
It's self-preservation.
It is at this point, which I still stand by. I still love Devin, but he didn't need to go so hard on her.
Yeah, I mean, she was, like, for real, like, upset. Sobbing. And, like, went to Kyle, like, please don't pick Devin. I don't want him to, like, get more upset. And
sobbing to him.
Didn't she say she'd quit if like Devin got voted in?
She said something like if he got voted in and went home, she's like, I would have to leave the game. Yes. And I mean, they did say they're like legitimately friends outside the show, which is why like you don't want to throw that around. And then also in the preview for the next episode, she does. But it's like, well, he already opened that door to that.
Yeah, he pulled the friend card first, and so she has a right to pull it back. But I mean, she's lucky that it's Kyle, because Kyle's number one guy. He even reminded us in his confessional in the middle of her crying to him, Devin's his number one guy. So he, like, if anybody, Devin's going to be the last person he would pick.
Yeah. I mean, Kyle doesn't have a lot of allegiance in this game, but Devin is one of them.
To Devin it is.
So, yeah, then we get out, and CT and Kyle are talking, and CT tells Kyle that he's not coming after him and he's not out to get him, but it's really hard to defend him after like the things he's done. And then like Kyle's like, are we friends? CT's like, I don't know. And then it gets like into this like weird, very similar to you two, like back and forth where it just keeps escalating. And then people are overhearing, which the challenge loves to do this. They love to cut to someone just standing around and then play the audio from another conversation to make it sound like someone's listening in. And like 90% of the time, it's just an edit. This time, like Emmanuel was like actually above them listening because he was like mouthing the words. And then Josh and Big
Amanda.
T and whoever else all came out there to listen too. And I was like, oh, for once it actually happened. They didn't have to like fake it in post-production. And so then CT just gets louder. So he's like, everyone's listening. I'm just going to let everyone know what's happening. And CT then said he's a wolf. I'm a wolf. And then when did that wolf and the howling all thing start? Was it just today, or did I miss it in another episode?
It has happened before.
I don't
with
remember.
Emmy.
I don't remember it happening, but now their whole team just howls, and they're.
I'm pretty
call
sure
it
it happened
howling
last
or
week.
I don't call it yowling. How do you spell it?
Yowling?
No, just what wolves do. How do you spell it?
I think yowling is more.
That's not
in
a word.
regards.
No.
No, I think yowling is more in regards to like when you've had a rough leg day. You go to the gym and you work out legs, and things are yowling.
Yeah. So CT. Oh, I already said that. So we get to the nominations. Emmanuel starts talking first. He's, trying to defend himself, saying he doesn't really want to go in. Josh doesn't want to go in. Devin is keeping the whole house underneath the protectiveness of his wings, I guess. Kyle, again, thinks it's going to be him because it was pretty obvious it was going to be. And so he just starts like, all right, well, if you throw me in, I'm going to go after Emmanuel, which is not what CT and Logan want. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and I'm going to come and take your spot, Logan, and be on the Sapphire team. I'm not going to join Emerald. And so that's obviously not what CT and Logan want. And, they say, like, I see through what Kyle's doing. But, I mean, he picked Josh, but he did do most of it. And by the way, I think Josh was the right pick. I think Emmanuel might have beat him. Like, that would have been a lot closer.
Yeah. Emmanuel most likely would not have missed the bell as many times.
As prepared as Josh seemed this season, I do feel like he was more locked in and more.
I agree. More level-headed.
And we say that,
Yeah.
and you got 2 people kicked off the show. But
That's true.
Well,
okay.
okay.
His history is he's just panicky.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I looked up Kyle wins, but Josh's elimination record is now.
I think he's only beaten Michi.
He has.
And that was one of the worst eliminations we've ever seen.
He is 1-5.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
1-5 with some bad losses.
So I know he lost to Kyle. I know he lost to Jordyn.
Jordyn, that was bad.
Yeah. Oh, he should beat Jordyn.
As great as Jordyn is, like, he got one hand.
I will say it's almost such a more impressive victory for Jordyn, but it is a bad loss for Josh.
Both and.
Yeah.
Him on War of the Worlds, him and Amanda lost to Cam and Ashley C.
Oh, yeah.
Uphill battle was.
Yep.
I remember that one.
Lost to Jordyn.
Mm-hmm.
He lost to, in Total Madness, he lost to Kyle again.
Oh.
Knots of War.
I don't even remember what that one was.
In Double Agents, he lost to CT and Dead Ringer, which I think was that swinging ring one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course,
He beat
loses.
Michi.
Yeah, he loses to Kyle. What's wild about Josh is, so I'd had to go through a bunch of challengers to really get context, but man's got 19 daily wins.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to think though, like the Emerald team just racked up 6 in a row or something.
Yeah, so I get that, but he seemingly has an ability to perform outside of eliminations.
He is.
I think he's a good teammate.
He's a great role player.
I think he's a great role
to help
player
your team.
teammate.
He's not going to screw you guys up.
He's not a star player.
He can't do it by himself.
Agreed. Which is why if they stayed in the cells, this was his best chance.
And look, both of them actually, I think, performed poorly in this elimination. Because, like,
the timing was
this
bad.
wasn't, this isn't rocket science. Let the thing swing, like, as it's swinging out, you go ahead and jump while it's coming back. Like, I don't know.
Let that thing swing.
Let that thing swing. Put some, put that thing on it. And so, I don't know, like, is that something that, like, you really got to like, I get you're running ragged at this point and you're exhausted, but, like, let the thing come back to you.
So, yeah, we kind of jumped ahead, which
yourself.
is fine. Josh is the pick, obviously.
Josh is the pick.
And he's like, great, endurance, what I'm built for. And I was like, hold on. I was like, if
Kyle
anything,
said
I would
this
think
was
it's
balance.
like a physical thing.
Well, he's running 30 laps at 5 in the morning.
I get it, but he's just, it's... we didn't even talk about he's wearing Fessy's helmet, like Fessy's name and helmet sake, which is hubris in the biggest thing that Kyle then calls him out and beats him while he's wearing that because he's like, "Oh, I'm wearing Fessy beating Kyle on my socks."
How about that?
And
the
so,
irony.
Anyway, like he was like, "Yeah, endurance, great. What right up my alley?" And I was like, "Man, I'd probably say you want something physical. You want something like a headbanger because he's big. Josh is a big dude."
I'm gonna make a bold prediction for Josh's career, his challenge career. I think at this point, I don't think he'll ever win another elimination. Because I think at this point, there's a chance with how he's wired, he's just in his head now.
Yeah,
He can't,
it's possible.
He can't win, and the one that he won was horrible.
Yeah, I think you do have a chance of possibly like a paired season where you might run into like a Dunbar and Tyrese thing.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Any elimination he does on his own, I don't think he'll win again.
Solo elimination.
I don't think he'll ever win a solo elimination again.
I couldn't say never just because
It's a big, because you never know.
I'd say your money's 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and what's crazy is like, we were talking I fully said like, yeah, it's been a more level-headed season, and then you're like, well, you got 2 people sent home. And then I kind of like took a step back and I was like, well, yeah, it's been kind of an insane season too, but compared to what we've been used to, it's like he's usually at like a 10, and this was at like a 7.5, which is still way more than what most challengers are.
Because if you're any other male competitor, rookie or vet, going into any season, why is he not at the top of your list? And it doesn't matter the elimination.
100%.
Why is he not at the very top of your list?
Yeah, I mean, unless it's just like a hall brawl type situation where he just is gonna like, Big Easy and he's not as big as Big Easy obviously, but he's just like, at some point sometimes more mass just wins an elimination. But like, man, anything like agility or endurance wise, like Josh is the pick, man.
Good Lord.
And like, again, Jordyn's in his own level as far as like,
but that's still
Josh should have
holy
beat him.
moly.
Yeah. One hand outweighed him by probably 60 pounds, and then it's a tug of war, and he lose, and it was multiple rounds.
Yeah.
And it's just got outsmarted, man. And I do think he it's the yips. He's probably gonna have the yips because he kept harping on this season. This is the best shot I've ever had to win, and I think it was because he aligned himself with, the whole cell thing worked out perfect for him.
But even CT said earlier in the episode, this is the best shape that he has ever seen Josh in. Like, he definitely has been going home and he's been training in the off season.
Full-time job now.
Exactly. So he's been training. He's been like getting more ready. So I think that does play a role in how far he's gotten this season. You put in the work, it pays off. Now, that's not to say, he won't get a case of the yips. He might. I don't know. He might come back the next season. Like, I got so close to the end. So I trained even harder, trained mentally. So this is going to be my shot. So he may come in with a newfound fire in the next season. Or he might, look at his stats and just have that in the back of his head, and then that be what holds him back.
So,
I mean, there's no way to know.
So, at this point, this is Josh's 5th season. And, like, I was just watching this, and I was like, man, you've got to take some time away from some of these people who've just been on over and over and over again, especially ones that don't have a chance, haven't won, and whatever. And I get you want new winners, but it's I just went and looked Evan, who was a really notorious face from when we watched. He only did 6 total seasons. Josh has done 5 in 2 years or 2.5 years. Evan did.
Evan took time off.
He hadn't taken a season off since he's been on hand.
That's what I'm saying. But that's how it used to be. You didn't get called every season. You would get 1, then you'd be off, or you maybe 2 in a row, 3 in a row, but then you'd be 2 off. And it's just now, it's just the same people, which is why I think some of the casting was solid for this season. But
I think that's also a lot of the reason that watching the main challenge has become kind of a chore at times, because it's just the same people.
Same
Over and
storylines.
Over and over.
And maybe that's why we really liked these rookies so much this season, because one, like most of them were pretty good competitors, but two, they're just new, and the rookies this season were exciting. They had their own storylines, but again, it's not the same people that we've seen the last 4 or 5 seasons in a row.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're, like, you know, Landon, I think, did 4 total seasons. Brandon Nelson, which is not the same level, but he did 5 total in, you know, a span of however many years. It's just, like, you get tired of just these same, like, I'm over the Big Brother people. I'm over, like...
I don't care if I ever see Casey on the show.
I was excited for Nany to come back, but Nany's been a drag. You know,
I know we enjoy both these guys. I'd be fine if Devin and Kyle took a
I was going to
season
say
off.
Kyle and Devin.
I was about to say that,
Yeah.
because
Big T's on her 4th
you know,
season.
we've talked about this before. You know, when these challengers are on 3-4 seasons back to back to back, they're not getting the time in the off season at home. Not enough time to decompress and pull their mental state out of the challenge house bubble and come back to reality. They're just going straight back into it. So they're not actually getting to, like, mentally rest. So, you know, doing so many seasons in a row, it starts to kind of change you a little bit. We saw it with Kara. It started, like, sucking the life out of her.
Good riddance to her.
But here's the thing. I think, you know, I look at it now. Devin and Kyle have done so many seasons in a row. It almost seems like the challenge house bubble is starting to suck the life out of them.
I don't know about that, but I mean, the money's so high now. Like, you have such a chance at life-changing money that if MTV calls you, I don't blame a single one of these people for saying, yeah, I'll do that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it used to be like, oh, you have a chance at like $60,000, you know, if you're whatever back in the day. Now it's like, this season's for $1 million. Last season was for $1 million.
The season before was for $1 million.
Yeah, and even if it's split, that's $500,000. Like, it's like, this is like crazy money. So I don't blame a single person if you get a call for going back on the show.
I understand, but even Kyle said earlier in this episode, talking about Devin, he's like, you know, Devin thinks that he's playing this game, but the game, it seems like, has gotten to Devin. Like, it's affecting how he responds to people and responds to situations. Like, that's why he went off on Tori, and Kyle's like, the game is essentially is what's playing Devin.
I mean, that's like, I mean, that's a big part of Survivor. That's a big part. Like, that's anything where you're like in an elongated
Like,
situation, like
hyper,
this. Yeah,
whatever.
Devin's.
Yeah, I don't think Devin takes his thing home with him.
Exactly, that's the thing. Like, we've talked to Devin enough. We know.
No, I that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he's been in it for such a long period of time. He hasn't had time away from it.
I'd say the only person that we would kind of be hypocritical about is CT. To my stance, can do him as long as he wants because he may not be doing these that much longer.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah.
I don't know. I know we used to make this whole argument with, like, Kara, right? Like, you know, we used to talk about how, like, you know, some of these people need to take some time away, you know, da-da-da-da-da. It's like, you know what? If this is these people's livelihood, like, who are we to say, man? Like, you know, I don't know. Like, it's a different venue than your general 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I don't know. I'm a little slow on that kind of. I'm a little slower on that kind of stuff now, being like, man, this person needs to go away from all, because this is for a lot of these people. It's their livelihood.
But
like,
as a producer of the show,
that's different.
That's
yeah.
No, I don't blame anyone for coming if you get a call. Like, go for it. But as someone that is like producing the show or the seasons, like that's been one of the biggest things is just fatigue of the same people over and over again.
I don't know if you guys saw, but I think, speaking of people who have been regulars for seemingly years now, Looks like Corey is going to be taking a break.
Doesn't surprise. He's done like 10 seasons.
He's doing other shows too, though.
But he made some sort of Instagram post about how his
I didn't see it.
I guess it was Riley, his kid, was just like
Ryder.
I'm sorry. Was basically said something along the lines of, I don't want you to go back on the challenge or something. He was like, that's when it hit me. Like,
she's getting old enough to remember him being gone.
And he was just like, I need to spend time with my family. So I actually think we're talking about this. He's going to be gone for a minute.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because she's old enough, one, to know when he's gone and to remember him being gone. He may come back when she starts school.
I don't know how old she is, but
she'll probably start school in a couple years.
But yeah, anyway.
But that's another guy, right? Like, take some time off and then, oh man, Corey.
Exactly.
Corey's back.
You know?
Yeah.
Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Yes.
Yeah. Kyle wins. We all know that. He goes, takes Logan's spot on Sapphire. Logan vows to come back, and that's kind of where the episode ended. We've kind of like gone off track a few times in this episode, but let's get to the superlatives. Like who smashed heads?
Emmy in that daily, she was the only girl on a team who didn't have another girl to switch out with on the running. She did all of it on her own, and they still won.
I'm going to give it to Nelson.
Oh, my God.
Because he basically chastised his whole team.
He did.
He did.
He did. We've been a little weird on Nelson this season, but I will give him props for taking the lead for his team and just calling them out.
Yep.
Cutting them down, and when they need it, and you know what? Nelson smashed their heads tonight.
Yep.
Him and Angela are kind of like back together, but they're not really telling people. Like she did a YouTube video like clickbaity, like I went on vacation with my ex to like get people to watch, and then though I've seen like her post stories, and then he'll post a story, and they're in the exact same place, but they're not saying they're together. And it's like they're together. You
keep track of this stuff more than I do.
Well, I just see it when I get on our thing like a couple times a week. I go through, kind of watch stories, see what's around.
It don't make no sense. They went on Dr. Phil together.
They did. They should, and Jake
still haven't watched.
You need to watch it. So for me, who smashed some heads, man. I'll give it to Emmanuel because he, Jake, you might appreciate this. He did his hair in a different way tonight. It was like up and slicked back.
I don't like it.
He looked like Viggo Mortensen from Eastern Promises with all the tattoos. And you've talked to me many times about how you enjoyed the naked sauna fight in that.
Right.
Because you saw him. He let that thing hang.
He put that thing on it.
And he killed some guys while he was naked, and it's very graphic. So, yeah, I'll give it to Manuel. And he stayed on elimination. So,
yeah.
Who got their head smashed?
Head smashed Tori, because she just got laid out a couple times.
I thought you were going to say because she was like crying so hard.
And Devin pulled the friend card on her and made her sob to Kyle.
Big T. Just
because everyone keeps she's an afterthought.
It continues to go around just telling nobody wants her on their team.
Literally an afterthought of her own teammates.
It's like, oh, you're here?
Oh, yeah. And a confessional, too. He said that, like,
Yeah.
I'll give it to Kyle just for being a big old dummy and putting himself in harm's way for just grabbing the wrong thing when he had an alliance with one of the crews. And, he had to go into elimination. He did win. We
he
can
did
give
it
to
himself.
Josh. Josh is the easy pick.
It's like Albert Pujols once said, this ain't Ricky's son.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's it. So, pop culture, thanks for the
My pop culture person of the week is Whoopi Goldberg.
Good Lord.
She's a big fan of Theodore Rex.
No, we were talking about Sister Act 2 yesterday or day before yesterday.
I think, okay.
And she's just been on my mind ever since.
Yeah, somebody sang a song, and I was like, "You've been watching a lot of Sister Act 2?" And I don't think you said anything. You just were there.
Yeah, I was sitting there, and then I just, I just started
in you.
I just started thinking about the movie when you said it, and she's just been on my mind ever since.
It is a great movie.
It's a great movie.
Sister Act 2 better than Sister Act 1.
These guys have been dropping singles over the last 3 to 4 months. Their album literally came out while we were sitting here recording. The band is called Volumes. I know I've already suggested them once, but I haven't even listened to this album yet. I promise you it's the first thing I'm doing when I get in the vehicle to go home. The album is called Happier. And I'm just going to tell you, buddy, ain't many people doing it better than them right now in the metalcore scene. And they're just good. They're just good. And I don't like going to concerts. I pulled up some live videos of these guys. I'd go watch them. They're fun.
You're not a concert guy.
I am not.
But to be fair, though, you haven't gone since you were like 18, and also like we were just going to like very specific style of shows, like going to seeing Jason Isbell at the Ryman or going to seeing Foo Fighters like at FedEx Forum. Like those were completely different than anything else I've ever seen before because it's an experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go see Justin Bieber.
Okay.
Is he touring?
One day he will be.
Maybe. Never say never.
So
World tour.
For me, I had it between two things, and I think I did one of them on a Patreon pod, so I'm not going to do that. Which was the Wolverine podcast.
No, you've already done that for sure.
The scripted Wolverine podcast.
Because we talked about it.
It's good.
Yeah. It is really good, and I'm not the kind to like anything like that.
Yeah, it's from Marvel. But for me, I am going with another podcast. It's not one that's even around anymore. They stopped doing it like 2 or 3 years ago.
The Litness.
No,
they did stop doing that.
That was like 9 months ago.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
But it's Harmontown, and it was Dan Harmon, the creator of Community, co-creator of Rick and Morty. When he got fired from Community after season 3, him and Jeff Davis, if you ever watch Whose Line Is It Anyway, you may know him from there. They started doing a live show at a comic book shop called Meltdown in LA, and they did it for like 10 years. And there's a documentary about it. They went on the road together. When they came through Nashville, somebody gave him moonshine, and they got so blacked out that he's like, this is the most shame-based edits I've ever made in my life. And I've listened to every episode. They play Dungeons & Dragons with a lot of famous people. Kumail Nanjiani, who you may know from the Eternals and a bunch of stuff now. He was on it all the time. He had John Mayer on. He had Robin Williams, like all kinds of people over the years. And I kind of want to go back and listen to those again. But it's like 700 episodes total.
It's a lot.
But it's great, and I miss Dan Harmon. I just follow him on Instagram, and he's real into woodworking now, which I think is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And because he just is kind of like, he deleted Twitter, and he's like, I'm gonna get real into building things.
And he did.
Yeah. So shout out to Dan Harmon. So are we ready to get into that?
Yeah. Well, you guys know we changed sponsors about halfway through the season. You want to build muscle?
P3.
Zach, you ready?
Yes.
Devin's not happy. -5.
Okay.
He's still sour about the Amanda thing. And, well, Amanda gets a banana. 5 points. Well, you guys saw she was eating a banana.
That's good for potassium.
Celebratory banana.
Where is she? Oh,
She's at top.
Yeah.
But nobody's throwing a party for Amanda. -5. Emerald thinks that Amanda is a solid dishwasher. I'll give her -5. It's a little bit of a slight there.
It is.
Tori's a superhero, 10 points. I'm also going to give her 10 for the quote, every team needs a hero. Who do you think's the hero on our team?
The three of us?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm the angel.
I'm also going to give Tori 5 points for her inspirational speech.
To Ruby?
Yes.
Okay.
Big T's the only one on Ruby that hasn't made a final. -10. She will never make a final either. So no points involved there. So
I thought you were about to say -5.
that's just purely opinion. Probably a fact, though.
Probably a fact.
But Tori believes in her. 5 points, Big T.
I thought you were going to give -5 to Tori for lying.
Kyle thinks that Ruby is hell. -10 to Kyle, because hell's not a good place to reside. I'm just going to let everybody know.
Hey, they are the red team.
There's this thing called the Eternal Pit of Fire, so...
There's also the Ring of Fire.
Yeah. Shout out
Johnny
to John
Cash.
Wayne.
John Wayne.
I'm sorry, you're right, Johnny Cash.
What?
Amanda doesn't run in the mornings. I'll give her 5 because
Nobody else does.
that's relatable. Josh also gets rejected again, -10. We consider that a rejection, right?
I guess. It's like the 5th time from her.
Typically people say, their butts on the line. Manuel's is on the wall.
Yeah.
-5. CT thinks Josh is different this season. I'm going to give 10 points to Josh. Any compliment from CT's high praise. Kyle was born in the trenches. 5 points. How is Emmy going to fight against 5 girls? -5. It's her problem. -5. We'll give her 5 points for the metal fingers. Big T wants to get dirty. 5 points. We encourage filth here. Big T explains the daily. -15. A lot of negative points going around tonight, by the way. Maybe the most negative points all around all season.
It's because you guys festered in that situation the whole time.
Nani isn't surprised. What she's not surprised by?
About what?
Never mind. It's nothing. Of course, I forget what her fantasy points are for. Of course.
So she can't even get points.
That was going to be like my first score of the night.
Kyle screws up again. -10. We got Mad CT, which is always a treat. 10 points. Everybody thinks Kyle's an idiot. -15 to Kyle.
Golly.
Amy's got a lot of girls on her butt. I think she meant it ill, but it's not a bad thing. 5 points. But she's okay with it. 5 points. We got Mad Tori. Not as good as Mad CT, but we'll give her 5. Devin thinks this is uncool. -5 to Devin. Amanda is the kiss of death. -10. Told you guys a lot of negative points going around tonight. We're going to give 15 points to CT, Kyle, and Josh for just the 3 straight minutes of just hype and just yelling at each other. That was great. I'm going to give 10 points to CT because at some point during all the trash talk, he was like, I don't know, Kyle. Maybe I'll make a mistake.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Pretty good. Josh is a crazy line. 5 points. Casey at one point said she has no idea how crazy I am. I don't think any of us do. -5.
Great. That's my first score of the night.
Tori just got worked. -10. We'll give Casey 10 for the hit.
I was about to say, she's the one who did it.
They won, and Emmy said something. I'll give her 15 for it because it was pretty great.
What?
The bitty bang, bitty bomb, bitty boom thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You didn't even know what it was.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But I did forget. She's like, bing, bang, bing, bang, bing, bang.
It's great.
Sapphire wins 25, 15, and 15 to Emmy, CT, and Logan.
Hold on a second.
CT.
Yeah, I got it. I just said, hold on.
And Logan. Emmy gives a flex, 5 points. She's an animal, 5 points. Nelson is sick of Ruby. That's -5 to the Ruby team, not Nelson. So, Big T, Tori, and Kyle? Big T, Tori, and Kyle?
Again, a guy on my team initiates it but doesn't get any points.
They just can't follow instructions. -5 to those same people. We're going to give an additional -10 to the whole Ruby team.
Oh, my God.
Because, as Nelson said, this team is done.
You forgot the -5 for Nelson.
He doesn't get -5.
He didn't get -5. Gonna give 10 points to CT for what I think may be the episode title. There's beef in the streets.
Yeah, that's what I was planning on. It's just because it's such a funny. I know what he meant, but it's a funny image.
You ever think like look at a hamburger patty in the street?
I'm gonna Google beef in the streets.
Oh God.
Beef in the streets. Are we thinking like cows running in the
No, I
streets,
think
or are we
like
thinking like
raw
ground
patties.
beef just in the street?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good one.
See, that's cows in a
That's a
street.
good one.
That's That should be the new cover photo for this podcast.
God,
just
Zach,
for this episode.
I got to tell you, Zach, your team's worthless. I just got to tell you.
I mean, Nelson,
Between Nani and Casey,
Nani, and Casey is all I got left.
Nani and Casey, that is a really bad couple to be left with.
So far, I'm sitting at -5 for the night.
And you have 3 total scores accounted to you.
Yeah. And -5, -10, and 10.
All right, well, give 10 points to Tori and Devin for their spat.
Great.
We're going to give 5 to Amanda because she loves this. She kind of borderline orchestrated this whole thing. Devin's rationales are weird this season. A -5. He's just hammering on this selfish thing. -5 to Tori because she's sad. I mean, be thankful for this, Zach. You're staying away from a lot of these negatives.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But then, she's going to have... I was like, it's almost not bad that my people are all very boring this episode because there's going to be a lot of negative scoring, but I think you guys are still going to end up in the positives.
Devin is a sensitive Sally, -5. CT isn't coming for Kyle. At least he said. That's 5 points to Kyle. Kyle thinks that him and CT are friends, but CT says no. That's -15. Yeah. 10 points to CT and Kyle for their spat, though. Nelson depends on himself. 5 points.
I'm back at 0
Yes,
overall.
Kyle's compromise, -25. Kyle was legitimately sad, too.
Yeah, he
-5.
he was
I thought he was going to
upset.
cry.
I did, too. 5 points to Tori and Emmanuel for their cuddle session. 10 points to Fessy for his face on socks.
Okay, somehow I'm going to end up with
Yeah.
the 10-pointer.
Yeah.
That's the thing. 2 of my top 3 got DQ'd because of Josh.
And Fessy's DQ'd.
That's
And you're getting 10 points for Fessy, who's
literally what I
DQ'd.
just said.
I
2
know.
of my top-
Emmanuel is ready to drink Kyle's blood. -10 to Kyle. Emmanuel acts like a chicken. 5 points. Josh is compromised. -25. Josh says, endurance is my game. We're unaware. -5.
Yeah.
Okay. They're getting -5 for each time they miss the bell.
Oh, my God. You kept up with that?
gosh.
I did.
Can you just give me a total, and I'll just give them, how many times I'll just give them a -20 or negative whatever?
Yeah, okay. So let's start with Kyle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 misses by Kyle.
So Kyle, -20 for Kyle.
-20. Josh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 for Josh.
-25 for Josh.
Yeah. Okay, let me catch back up here. CT's literally biting his nails. -5.
He was dressed like a b-boy, too. Like he's going to break dance.
Kyle's baby is a fire inside of him.
Kyle's
5 points.
Baby.
5 points to Kyle. Kyle wins 75. Josh loses -50. Middle finger from Kyle, 10 points. Apparently this is Josh's funeral, -10 to Josh. Devin is sad, -5. Josh is also sad, -5. Kyle is in the cave of the wolf. That can't be a good thing, -5. Not equals 5, -5.
I got it.
Logan loves Ruby, so 5 points to the Ruby team. That is Nelson, Big T, and Tori.
All right, I'm going to end up in the positive.
CT is not happy, -5. Nelson says that everyone in Ruby is strong, hesitated on Big T, -10 to Big T. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are your fantasy points for the week. We are going to take a quick break right now. And we're back one last time. A quick little shout out to our sponsor. Want to build muscle?
P3.
So even though I didn't have all of the negative things happening, it wasn't good. So I'll just run through everybody. CT scored 110. Amanda ended up with -5. Josh ended up with -100.
Wow.
Emmanuel got 5. Amy got 85. And then Big T got negative 40. So Jake ended up with 55 for the week.
Okay.
From the grave, Fessy got 10.
Yes, sir.
Nelson got 0. It all evened out to 0. Nani just didn't score, so she got 0. And then Casey ended up with 5. So I got 15 for the week.
Hey.
Wow. Hey, you're on the board.
And Kyle got negative 5 for the week.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, he had a lot of negatives in there.
I was
Even-
expecting so much worse.
But he got 75 points just for winning.
Yeah.
So he ended up with negative 5 for the week. Devin ended up at negative 15.
Dang.
Logan got 55. And Tori got 15, so Hannah ended up with 50 for the week. So like, even though I wasn't involved in any of that, I still lost by 35 points at minimum. So I'm still in third place. Finally hit 1,400 even.
Hey.
Hannah's at 1,635 and Jake's at 2,505. So
Not much change.
You know, when we did the draft at the beginning of the season...
actually, you are at 2,510.
When we did the draft at the beginning of the season, Casey had kind of fallen.
Yeah.
And we were all like, there's no way she can fall any farther, and you took her, right? She was just there.
She was my she was my next to last pick. I took her above Bettina. That's the only person that she went above on my team.
Okay, never mind. I was gonna make a point, but it's invalid now.
Yeah, like
you did take her.
We all left her on the board.
Yeah.
And for good reason, it turns out, you know?
I mean, I took Nani as 6th overall on my team, and that didn't work out. And then I took all 3 Survivor people, and they all were gone immediately.
Yeah.
And so my team was just doomed. And then Fessy and Ashley both got DQ'd, so there's nothing I can do. It was a crapshoot for me. At least I just didn't take the racist girl. That's the only thing I can go off of.
None of us did.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. Like we said, top show, patreon.com/SmashingItsPodcast has all of our exclusive stuff. I'm not 100% sure when we will have next week's Spies, Lies, and Allies episode up. We might have to wait until the weekend and just knock that and All-Stars out at the same time just because of the Thanksgiving holiday. And if you're not in the U.S., sorry, that's a big family thing. We got to, there's just not time.
I'm sure they know what Thanksgiving is.
I know, but I'm saying, they don't have it there, so... it's a time where we have to go travel and see family and stuff, so we can't.
And I have to work.
Cool.
No, because it's Black Friday and then Small Business Saturday.
So we got it's going to be hard that weekend, so we'll figure it out. But we are recording this weekend All Stars episode 2. As of right now, we haven't watched it yet, but
that's true.
We're going to watch it and then record this weekend and then go from there. But SmashingHeads.com/store is all the merch, and then we'll be back with you Sunday.
Is it not SmashingHeadsPodcast.com?
What'd I say?
You said SmashingHeads.com.
SmashingHeadspodcast.com/store.
Boy,
thank God.
He screwed up. Can you believe it?
Out of 400 episodes
oh
or
my
whatever.
gosh.
I can't believe I said it wrong.
Yeah,
one
out
time.
of 400, you'd think you'd have it down by now. And you messed it up.
I was waiting for you. You always point at me when you're ready.
I looked at you.
Have a good night, everyone.